Very good. Thank you for that.
Sure, Doctor.
Great. So I can see the numbers is going up too fast. Very good. So welcome everyone. I hope you will enjoy today's session. You will find it useful. Just a few minutes to wait until everyone is there. We are using the Arabic translator for in case some of you wanted to follow what we're saying in, through that translator in Arabic or any language. I think it's a nice tool that we should use from time to time to help people who want to communicate. I think Patrick already added the code there, or he will be adding the code if you want to try the Arabic translation.
Yes, Doctor. It's working fine with me, and I also post the code in the chat.
Good. So,
Sure.
so that will help.
Yeah, it's working fine with me.
Yeah. If some of you want to use it, you just use it. If you follow me in English, that will be no issue. That will be great. I think maybe only few people who wanted that. So we said we'll offer you with the service. Now I can see numbers are up. I just wait a little bit until 2 minutes more, and then we will start on time. We have so many things to cover today. I think we will do it within the time allowed. I think what's important is to hear from you. None of us is expert in this area in terms of we know what's happening in the future. No, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we can prepare ourselves for the future. So that's what we can do. So your feedback, your thinking, your experience, you're dealing with a student on day by day and with faculty, with all the challenges in the school. So you have more than what I have that you can offer to us. So let's share that one, and we'll go through that. I think I will just share my screen in a few seconds, and then we'll. So let me swap between this one and that one. So there's so many things on my screen. Okay, so let me share screen, although there is still 0 minute there. So let's share screen, and then we can go through our presentation. Okay, so what you need to see? You need to see Mentimeter. This is our Mentimeter, which now you are familiar with this Mentimeter because we're all using it. I think it's a nice tool, but we will see later what we can do. Let me run it again. Okay, so today we're talking about virtual schools. What does it really mean, virtual school? Does it mean that the future will be virtual? No, nobody knows what the future will be, but it will have some sort of virtual and face-to-face, for sure. We learn a lot from the COVID-19, and our faculty went through so many challenges, technologies, practices, and that experience will not disappear. I think it will continue, and we are finding this experience useful and helping us to think of the futures. And that's, so we'll be doing 6 things. If we finish it all, that will be great, but I think we can leave some of it for the one we'll have on Wednesday. We'll talk first about those key pillars of schools, or virtual schools, or future schools, or current, which really has something to do with the current school as well. It cannot be only future. And then we'll talk about the technologies that we currently have and the emerging technology. Now, we cannot predict, again, everything in the future, but there are some tools and mechanisms that will help us get some sense of what will be in the futures in terms of technology and related aspect. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some future scenarios. We'll talk about the education technology framework that we need in the school. And these 2 things, we will do it in the next session on Wednesday. So before we start, want your input now here from your experience, where you went through, how you see in 2030. 2030, by the way, is not that far, and especially in education. Education is a little bit slow in moving and accepting those new technologies and new changes, because it has a wealth of experience, wealth of development, and it's deal with human, and human, you cannot just change human overnight. So this is why education takes more, and it's good that takes more to come with something solid instead of just jumping. Now, in 2020-30, what do you think the percentage of that? So of face-to-face, are we going to have still face-to-face? Are we going to have fully face-to-face? Are we going to have hybrid face-to-face? And what should be the percentage of time that the student will spend on face-to-face? Now you see the numbers changing. That 6.2 is 62. You just multiply by 10 because the scale is out of 100. And when you go, the system look at only 10 of that. So that's fine. So consider it 56. I can see coming closer to the middle. Now the good thing with this curve, it shows you where the people are located. So some people said 0, some said 2. The 2 people said around 1. And 2 people said around 3, and 3 people said around 3, and 3 around 4. You see the distribution of people. Some people said 100%, 2 people said 100, and some said 90%. So that's something good. So I'll give you some time. 2 things. This is important first slide. One, it gets more of you online with this one. And the second thing, we will be discussing the remaining things related to this one. Now, while you do that, I will just have a look quickly at the chat and see what you are saying in the chat window, which here. Coming there. Okay, so we can see there are a number of chats coming here. It's good. Can you please have the Menti code? Yeah, the Menti code is there, always displayed there. But again, sorry for that. If some of you cannot see it, you can use these instructions here. You can either scan the QR code or you just go and enter this code. Yeah, so that's what. Now, by the way, on the translator, you can speak in Arabic, and I'll see it here in English, or you can type it also in any language. I'm just watching it, and I hope it will not say anything silly that I didn't say. Sometimes this technology does its own things. That's good. To join the Mentimeter, the code is there. Okay, good. Let's go back to our slide. So now we had 62 of you. We have here 151 people now. It will soon come higher than that, but only 62 participated, 63. I know it's my mistake. I didn't show you the code, but now you know the code. Yeah, and that's the code. So we need to look at it. So it makes sense. I think we will spend around 55 of time. The student will spend about 55 of the time doing face-to-face activities. This is good, but now you said that you need to tell me what sort of activities they will be working on it. What are those activities when they come to the class? Now they're spending 40%, say, studying distance, online, whatever, but they come to the college or to the school and they will be engaged in face-to-face. What type of activities in the face-to-face they will be doing? Are they? Okay, group work, that's very good. You do that, continue, because I have to update my next slide based on this input. Let's be there on the other machine. I'll look there, that's very good. Oh yeah, exam, group work, hands-on activities, project-based learning, brain stimulating activities, yes, debate, practical collaborations, protocol, behavior, team discussions, teams presentation, projects, and group work and social activities, digital work, sport, laboratory, art, music, teams, hands-on activities, so many things. So they will be really engaged. Will they be attending classes? I'm seeing that project-based learning, excellent, on presenting, discussing, creative, okay, this is very good. Group investigations, yeah, very good. Using ICT, present gaming, group work, again, repeated many times, one-by-one activities, presentation, applications, activities, group activities, peer-to-peer project. This is great. Yeah, these are the things that they will be doing. Yeah, I know some of them they will be also studying. Maybe you need to have some classes or no classes at all. For Arabic translation, please install. Yeah, I did see that. That's us. I don't see any. Any one of you wanted to speak, please raise your hand and we can have some discussion now or later. I think it's important that we hear from you. This is really very helpful and great, which was in line of what I was thinking, but you went too far from what I was thinking. I think you came with so many great things that I didn't even imagine in my presentation. My plan was in the next slide, I can see Amal Mahjoub wanted to speak. Yeah, please allow Amal to speak if she wants. We'll just limit this one to 1 minute if you want, because the time is, we have a lot of things to cover. Amal, go ahead, please. You need to unmute. There is an icon in the lower corner to unmute your microphone. I can ask you to unmute, you will get an alert on the screen. Amal, we have issue with yeah, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I think even the competition, internal competition and external competition, is very interesting activities, and including creative thinking and critical thinking.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so we'll continue, move to the next one. So I was thinking of the next one, but again, as I said, you were really ahead of me and you thought of so many things. But again, I can still group your ideas into some of it extracurricular and some of it related to the labs and games and working on projects. Out of those things, if I want you to rank it based on how much time the student will spend on each one. Will you be able to do that? Now, when you open this one, you will find the list comes, you select the first high rank you need to do, and then the second, and then the third. I think many of the things what you said, you can group into either extracurricular or also into the labs, or into working on projects and things like that, which I saw from that one. If you think strongly there's something else I should add here, I will do, but I think I'll do that maybe later when we have time to do this. Okay, so clearly that working on projects will consume a good time of student time when they come back in the future, when we are in the futures and we have face-to-face activities, they come to the campus. These are the things they will spend in the list I gave, but there are more in yours. I will review that one later. But working on projects, it seems the highest one. Working on labs is the second. Attending classes, maybe those classes that require more hands-on, more creative thinking, group discussions, and not classes that just the teacher is standing in front and explaining. I think this type of classes where the teacher is standing in the front and just explaining will go away because they can be recorded in a video and can be done. But these are not the type of classes that we will hopefully see in the future. Extracurricular games. If you go back to the previous list we had, is something here, research is very good, stimulating activities, again related to group and maybe, but this more specific. Presentation, again, it's not in mine, I think experiments, again related to the labs. I think social interactions, which extracurricular should bring that one, maybe we have something more specific. This is what you're thinking, and this is the great thing. You are the one who is in the ground and thinking of education every day. You're seeing this happening this way. I can see one question saying hi. Okay, hi is a good thing. Now let's continue now. This is good. Now this is a video we created at Wa'ya, I think. I'll come back to you if you give me just some time to go through this video. You raise hand, then you change your mind. Okay, no issue. Now, I'll share with you this video. We have a project, we're working on it here in Abu Dhabi University. We have around 100 courses. We're working on it. We're creating strategy or reviewing a strategy as a group. And the first thing we thought about it, we should think of the student learning journey. And what are the components in the student learning journey? I understand and I'm aware that the university has different things from schools, but there are common things to do, and there, some of it can be applied to the senior student more than the lower the lower grades. Let's go through this video. Maybe I need first to make sure that I optimize this one for video clip. Yes, I did.
Welcome. My name is James. We will discuss the student learning journey. Do you remember when you started learning to drive? How many hours did it take you to learn driving? According to the Driving Standards Agency, DSA, we take around 44 hours of professional lessons to pass our driving test. What did motivate you to spend this time? I can hear you saying, it is one of my objectives to learn how to drive and get a car. Having an objective and a desire to learn is the first and most important step in your learning journey. A positive attitude will motivate you to continue progressing in your journey. Make sure to select the program that meets your objective and your inspiration. Speak to the program coordinator. Ask questions about jobs available, accreditation, facilities, resources, link with the industry, etc. The next step is to enroll in the program and register in the courses. Attend the orientation session. Make sure that you have all the answers that you need. You will be provided access to teaching content through our learning management system. This mode of learning is called asynchronous learning. You decide when you learn and how to learn. The learning content will include videos, virtual labs, simulation, discussion, and quizzes. The asynchronous learning is followed by a live class through video conference. This mode of learning is called synchronous learning. You be engaged in problem solving, discussion and reflection activities. When finished with live and scheduled video class, you need to go back to the learning management system at your own time to practice and enforce learning through labs, exercises, and tutorials. Make use of library resources, both in electronic format and print. Meet your academic advisor from time to time to discuss your progress and seek advice and support. Apply the knowledge that you learn to solve real-life problem. Start by simple problem, and increase the complexity as you go. Present your project to your faculty and classmates. Seek feedback on your progress, review the feedback and make adjustment where appropriate. Use our gym and sport facilities to stay physically healthy and fit. Participate in activities organized by the student council and clubs. That was a quick high level of the learning journey, but why do we need to go through this learning journey? There are two reasons. The first reason is to create solutions for real-life problems. And the second reason is to create new knowledge. Being able to remember knowledge and fact help us in finding solutions. However, remembering without understanding has little value. Being able to understand knowledge will enable us to apply them to solve a real-life problem. Remembering, understanding, and applying are considered as lower learning orders. They are an important part of your learning journey. However, they allow you to develop a solution, but not good enough to improve the solution and create new knowledge. You need to move your journey to higher learning orders. In the higher learning order, you need to analyze the solution that you developed and all its related assumptions and facts. Develop and apply an evaluation system and rubric, and then create new knowledge. I wish you every success in your learning journey.
Okay, so that video quickly went through the learning journey. I know the learning journey here is a little bit different in university from school system. When we did this video was the start of this new distance learning and COVID-19, and we wanted just to get it clear to our stakeholders, student, faculty, administrations, all the support team. This is how we're going to operate in that model. In future, this again will change. These components here related to attitude will not change. Selecting the programs maybe in the school, you don't have that much options, but when you come to moving to the seniors and you want to study science or engineering or health or other things, and you can start looking at that one based on the curriculum that you're following. Registration is not maybe that much important in the school. Orientation, I think it has to happen everywhere. I know students, maybe they know the system, but every year they have a new requirement, so assembly and activities that the schools will do, it will continue. Those two modes of delivery, we insisted on them in Abu Dhabi University by making sure students have the asynchronous where they can learn on their own and do the activities and interact online. And the synchronous one, when it's happening through Microsoft Teams or Zoom or all the other technologies that need to be in place. And then getting students to apply their knowledge, like attending classes and not going to the labs, not solving problem, and that will not be enough for their learning. So they need to get into that and the assessment and the other related components. Will this learning journey change a lot from school to university? It will be different in the futures? Now we said student will spend around 40% online, not in the school. So when they come to the school, here comes maybe the applying of the knowledge, the activities and learning support and life experience. Those are the things that you mentioned in your input. Now, looking at this one, Hamza, yes, Hamza, please. If I see some of you sometimes raise their hand, then they change their mind. Hamza, I think you will not change your mind. Go ahead, speak. You change your mind. Now we have Wafa.
I didn't. Yeah, hi, how are you doing?
Very good, very good. Good.
Actually, the video you just showed us, it talks mainly about Bloom's taxonomy. Yeah. And in fact, schools in these days are preparing the students really, really well to be a university student. So don't worry about our students. They are so well ready, so well prepared, because everything you're mentioning here, almost we give them in grade 11 and 12. And even the choices of their electives, and actually we direct them in a way to go towards engineering, med school, businesses, technology, whatever. So, so don't worry about our students, they are so well ready.
Excellent. That's really great. I'm happy to hear that. That's what I expected. I have two of my kids, and I can see they're going through that experience, and they're going through a similar thing as you described. So thank you for that. Now the key pillars that we should have for our education system. I can see virtual school in the future. What are the key pillars that will depend on them? So I can see labs, I can see technology, engagement, high and rich resources, technology, again, technology, research, digital tools, flexibility, IT support, and this great thing, a platform that is safe and engaging, absolutely. Technical communications, collaborations, digital leaders. This is very interesting one. I like it. Yeah, I think there's a new trend called twins, person twins, which related to that again, where you can have a twin for your view on the cyberspace that provide you with support on different things. LMS and the technology. Yeah, this is very good. I think you're giving the answers that I'm expecting to be there. You're going beyond again what I'm thinking in terms of you talking more and more depth on some areas. You specifying, for example, media, you're specifying lab content, you're specifying things that are more details. But when I looked at it, and from previous experience we have done, I just came with this one. So these are the key pillars. I was debating with myself, where should I put each one of this? So I thought that where I put it is not that significant, important. Is the foundation the curriculum, or the foundation is the teachers or faculty, or the foundation is the technology? It doesn't make a big difference in my opinion. Maybe you have a different opinion and you would like to share it later, you can do that. But these are the key pillars in my opinion. Curriculum, without curriculum, there's no education system. The curriculum doesn't have to be very rigid and very specific and details maybe, but there should be a curriculum. There should be an objective that the student need to meet at the end. And the objective comes from a curriculum. I think that's my opinion. Teachers will stay important forever, because they are the one who manage the whole transformational and experience, and enrich that experience, inspire the experience, and coordinate it and do all the things. We will not be having a robot in the future, hopefully, although with technology and futures, we cannot say technology will not get into the emotional part and learning on their own. No, they will get there. Trust me, the development happening now is moving it there, and can get there. But still, the human will be superb, hopefully, because you have some control on that. Students are the core. We're doing the whole thing for them. I want them to be successful. I want them to be our future leaders. They are the one who will save our country, nations, and produce all the great things. So the pedagogy is important, and with the technology, with the new requirement of student, with the new opportunities, those pedagogy has to start improving as well. And being improving, flipped classroom, and those problem-based learning, challenge-based learning, and so many of those things becoming more common in the school system and used very effectively. Technology, without technology in the future, things will will not develop to where it should be. Still, we left without technology for many years, and we're able to educate so many people. Einstein and those great people who came with the great discovery, they came without that technology at that time. But the life is progressing and will be going to different levels. So technology will become again important for the next level. The learning experience that the student go through, from simple thing, talking to advisor, to learning how to behave, learning how to follow certain order and processes, and interacting, presenting, coming with proposals, dealing with all these things are important, and also learning how they learn and move through challenges. That's very important. Will be there. Quality assurance for the whole things is important for in anything, I think, which I think it's part of the pillars. And again, advising and mentoring. Before, we were not including this one in the online learning or e-learning, but with the experience we went all through with COVID-19, we find lots of activities we have done helping students through using those different technologies to make sure they are advised, they are focused, they are healthy, we address their issues related to the emotionals, the experience, being on their own, many things. So we have done lots of things on this one, and now becoming, I think, a core pillar. You cannot have a system without being able to advise and support student. Technology has so many things inside in that one. I think leadership is important. You need a leadership to encourage this, motivate this, bring vision for this, and get the whole team to work together to achieve these objectives. Without leadership, even if it is fully online, will not work. Leadership will be needed, in my opinion. I can see a few Q&A. I see monitoring and advising as a pillar, not assessment. Yeah. When I was thinking of assessment, I was thinking curriculum and assessment goes hand by hand. The assessment will assess the curriculum, and you can't have a curriculum without having an assessment part of that one. This is why I didn't include it, but I think that's a good point. Maybe we need clearly have the assessment somewhere. The QA is a bigger thing, which is an assessment of the whole program and the whole experience, not only the examination that or project or things that the student doing to ensure that. This is a good point. I think maybe assessment need to be there. QA is quality assurance processes. That's the one. Selwa, yeah, thank you. Can we add effective online assessment system? Yeah, we can add that. You will see the assessment system will come later in my presentation when I talk about all those different type of technologies there. I'm not sure if there's any hand up. If no hand up, then we will proceed to the next one. I don't see a hand up, yeah. Okay, so now here is another way to look at it. This is a research done by Bond and Sevinja. They were looking at how to facilitate student engagement through education technology. Through using technology, how you can scan this one, you will get the research paper. It's available there, and you can get it also from, this is the reference of that one. Now they looked at it as a different systems. So they started by the inner system, which is very closer. I'm just trying to zoom in. I'm not sure if you see the quality of it. But the inner system look at the people who are closer to the student, and they can impact the student more. So these are some important components, as you know: teachers, curriculum, technology, peers, family, institution. These are very close to the student, and they can influence the student participation, contribution, engagement, and outcomes. And there is an area between this one and the outsider area, they call it mesosystem, which this area depends on the social and economical background of the society. This area can be bigger or smaller. It can allow students to interact more with the external one or less based on that social and economical environment. The next one is the ecosystem, where they have the institution policies comes in play that allow them maybe to interact or not interact for that institution. For example, some institution, they wanted the interaction to happen through a certain system, electronic or a process, and some of them are more flexible and open on that one. The extended family, the family social network, the employment, extracurricular, social services, media, and wider community. These are a bigger one that can also, the student will interact with, and they will influence how much he or she will interact in that society. And then comes the higher one, the macro system, which will look at the culture, the digitalization level in that society or country, the history, and political and social environment, economic and policies, and the power there. These are some of the things that will influence the student ability to engage through social, through educational technology. Now we're done a little bit talking about those general things. Now, what's about these virtual schools? We didn't talk about virtual school yet. We spoke about there's a sort of a balance between face-to-face and virtual or online or distance in the futures. But what about the virtual school? What are the technologies that will be in place at that time? And how we know what those technologies will be in place? And questions like that. There's no really full answers for that one, but as I said before, there's a way to follow a mechanism or a process to indicate what's going to happen there. And there is a company called Gartner. I'm sure you heard about them. They are big technology consultants who really spend their time to look at technologies, trends, and support organizations being ready for new technologies. I can see some questions here, which I can go through that. Then I'm getting a call for a meeting now. It's not the time to meet. Okay, our students should be treated and prepared to be 21st century learner. This is one of the comments I can see, connecting that to their real life. That's I agree with that one. What if the technological skills of department head are less than the teacher's skills? See, the department head doesn't have to be technical person to lead this. He should have a vision and should understand that and should support it, not really being a technical person who can do the things. If he knows the technical, it will help, and sure people can learn most of these things. You're not going to develop the system, you're going to most likely to be using the system, but that will help. When we talk about the future school, we are emphasizing on technology and how it can be used in, I agree with you, most of people looking at that one. Student and their parents, regarding student, what we are focusing, normal student only, where are the placing our student? I think Asma later, if you want to clarify, I can see your point here. We talk about technology and you're talking about students who have different ability and how we can adjust and adapt our learning and experience to that one. But later we maybe can get an opportunity to listen to you more on this one and get your inputs on that. Okay, back to Gartner. So those Gartner create something called the Hive Curve. The Hive Curve or Hive cycle. their assumption is that, or their experience, and we all experience that one, technology starts somewhere, then everybody will start talking about it, then they will find somewhere it will go down, then it get into a certain level. So they start by different levels. The first level, they call it innovation triggers. When there are only small people talking about it, they have done a little bit, some work on it, they have shown some examples, and they started talking about these technologies and start gaining momentum. Now, this is a big list of technologies that people now talking about it. This is 2020, yeah? And usually it takes time to reach to the plateau of productivity. So the plateau of productivity, and you can see many of it. Some of it can be in less 2 years, it reach here. Some of it will take 2 to 5 years to reach. Some of it will take 5 to 10 years. Some will take more than 10 years. And some of it will be obsolete before the plateau. They will just disappear. People talk about it and then find it doesn't really work. It costs a lot. It has a narrow applications, all those type of things. So if we look now at the trigger one, these are some of the technologies people talking about it now. Authentications and privacy, and it's becoming very important. So this is one of the things that here, and this one expected to take 5 to 10 years to reach to a certain level. Artificial intelligence assist design, so it can help you with designing a solution through artificial intelligence. You pass the problem to artificial intelligence and it start. Adobe already started doing something here a year ago, where you can start a Photoshop design at the beginning, and then the artificial intelligence will complete it for you. It's giving some results, but not really that result that can be replicated on other solutions. You can see the DNA computing and storage. You will see self-supervised learning is there. And these are so many crowded sorry about that. Technologies, machine learning, adaptive machine learning. Machine learning is there for some time now, but now the adaptive machine learning coming in. Citizen twins, this is what I spoke about before, and so many of those technologies. These technologies are still at the trigger level, some of them gaining momentum and going there, but they still did not reach the peak. Now, what is the peak? The peak when things reach, everybody is talking about. Nowadays, everybody talking about artificial intelligence without having any real applications of artificial. There are some applications, but not that significant thing. So it gets here and people start talking about it. So many things are now people talking about like secure access service edge. If you look at the research and look at the internet and finding those technology influencers, you'll find they're talking about that a lot. Expandable AI, artificial intelligence, and things like that. So this is here the peak when it reached to a level that everywhere you open, you'll find something talking about that one. And then it will start moving down. People find, for example, carbon-based transistors. These people were talking about it a lot few years ago. Now it started coming down. Why? Because they found people, the application, it's challenging to create applications of that or use it to solve problems. It solves maybe specific problems and solve other things. So it started moving down to the level where here people get into a level that the lowest level of that. And then it start gaining momentum. So you'll get the slope of, and then it starts going up. People start using it. Some people start creating application. Maybe a small group of people will work on it, and companies, big companies, and they start creating application that grow. And then it gets into the plateau after some time. So technologies we see here, they have the opportunity to be there in in 10 years or 5 to 10 years. These are some of these technologies that we may see in the future. Of course, there are other technologies will come and maybe go faster than this one, because there, as we said, the time to go to the plateau level, it depends on the technology. Some of them will jump quickly and move faster into that, and some of them will be slow. But if you follow Gartner, they publish this yearly, you will get a sense of what are the technology providers and technology influencers and technology leading people are talking about and working on, and what the potential of going there. Now, you cannot just jump into these technologies straight, because they cost you money and will cost you resources and cost training and do that. But you just wait for it to get certain level, at least start coming in the slope of alignment, and then once it gets there, that it's getting there. Or maybe you start looking at it from this area. There are some people who jump into this early. That's fine. That's fine if you have the resources, if you thought about it, you did your analysis and mechanism and find a way that, oh, this technology will really influence us. Now, this is general into technology. Now, there is a specific group called web coursework. I think I should be able to get you there. Web coursework, Hive Curve. I prepared it on the slide, but I just didn't remember to keep it. This group has looked at things related to education technology. So if you look at, you go to their website, this is the website, and they have here a video explaining those different technologies they are talking about. You can go there. You can look at their e-learning Hive. I'll just take you to few of the things that they think it's going. Again, they're using the Gartner methodology and the Gartner curve. Now, the methodology used on following certain technology influencers or leaders, they have a group of them, I think, and they follow their writing, publications, research work, and see what they are talking about and what they are proposing. And then based on that, they put it through Python or technology to do data analytics, and they come with those different things. So they're talking about the same thing. So in the triggers, they're talking about specific related to education, something called learning culture, where the organization, this is maybe more for organization, not for the school, but again, school is an organization, your faculty is part of an organization, where they focus on learning and making learning is a key components of their organization. And there is a growing on that, and this is their work when they look at people each month. I think they do it for 20 months. And they're looking at each month how many tweets, how many publications, how many articles are related to this one. And they plot it on this one and see, is it going up? This is going up. So it's on the trigger side. The other one, they look at it, future of work, where people learn the skills needed for the work. It's similar to macro learning, which people talking about nowadays, but it's not exactly the same one. Macro learning, you get smaller doses of learning that meet your needs, but here, based on your work needs, similar, yeah. There are some small differences between that in terms of technology and concept. And again, future of work is growing. Digital transformation, this is not a new, people started talking about it many years, but type of digital transformations happening now is different from those was happening in the past. And the outcome of that was also different from this. They're talking about social learning again. And again, social learning is one of it. Workflow or flow of work, that's one. And then on the inflated or the peak. They can see the podcast. People spoke about the podcast, and they're still speaking about it now. A learning experience, everybody talking about learning experience. Even if you look at my presentation, I had that one. Virtual reality, everyone talking about virtual reality, but what are the actual applications? There are applications, but they are expensive, difficult to develop, and things like that. But it's there. It's on. This is why it's on the peak. There. Design thinking, looking at solving problem from design point of view, how the designer think to do that. This is again everywhere since the last maybe few years. Artificial intelligence, everyone talking about it. This is at the peak. Analytics as well, and then came down, starting to slow down, where we're looking at the macro learning. Macro learning had some hype a few years ago. Gamification also had some hypes and now became somehow challenging to achieve the level of expected outcome from gamification, although it still have some outcome which related to that one, also badges and macro learning. Slope of alignment, started to see the experience API. This is a very technology thing that integrate different technology. So you have a learning management system, and how that learning management system can integrate with other system and passing data and automating process and helping activities to happen. This is now doing going a little bit down because people find it's not doing that. And in the productivity, you can see mobile learning. Mobile learning was people talking about it long time ago in 2008, and when things started that time, the mobile learning was there, but now reached to a level where people can see results from mobile learning, and they can see some product coming. So you can look at this one and go through it. You will get more details. I can see some questions and I can see some hands. Oh, very happy to see hands. Samah, please go ahead. Samah, you need to unmute if you want to speak. I have Duha, please. Yes, Duha, we're listening to you. Sorry, Duha, I muted you because I cannot hear you. Ghadir. Ghadir, you need to unmute if you want to speak. If you raise your hand, you need to mute to speak. That means you want to speak, yeah? So if you raise your hand, please speak, or lower your hand. That's still fine if you don't have something to say. Okay, going back, Asma, do you want to explain your comments? If you want, you can. Wafa, differentiations should be the base for our teaching and learning process. Good point. Agree with that. Wafa, if you want to explain more. Alia, go ahead, please.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
الله وبركاته.
يعطيك العافية دكتور. معلش أنا راح أتكلم باللغة العربية.
تفضلي. go ahead.
في مجال. شكرا. كثير أنا شاكرة جهدك وكثير ما شاء الله يعني ناخذ منك كثير معلومات. بس اسمح لي بالنسبة للسؤال اللي انسأل فيما لو كان القسم مستوى أقل في تكنولوجيا التعليم من الفرد مثلا. أنا برأيي قبل كوفيد فعلا كان في كثير من الأقسام وأعضاء هيئات التدريس يعني خاصة يمكن الكليات الإنسانية عندهم ممانعة شديدة لما يسمى تكنولوجيا التعليم. حابين إنهم فقط يتبعوا أسلوب المحاضرة القديم، وعادة يمكن هذا يعني أنا بنظري بتدرعوا إنه ما في وقت يحضروا الورش التدريبية في تكنولوجيا التعليم بسبب الأعباء الوظيفية. لكن بعد كوفيد يعني والأمور اللي اضطرت إنه يعني أصبح الأمر الواقع إنه لابد من دمج تكنولوجيا التعليم، لكن للأسف إحنا بنجد أبسط يعني أمور تكنولوجيا التعليم سواء في البلاك بورد أو الإي ليرنينج، المنصات زوم أو ما إلى ذلك، حتى أبسط المعلومات الأساسية للأسف بيفتقروا إلها أعضاء هيئة التدريس في دمج تكنولوجيا التعليم في موادهم. مثلا بنجد شرائح الباوربوينت هي وورد، أشبه بالوورد، مع إنه الباوربوينت يعني هو معمول لجذب انتباه القارئ المستمع وليس تشتيته بالقراءة، يعني هو له قواعد معينة. مثلا هذا أبسط إشي الباوربوينت اللي زمان يعني لازم يعني للأسف اتطورنا فيه، بس لما أنا بحضر كثير يعني عروض تقديمية عن طريق الإي ليرنينج بجد إنه ما زال حشو الكلام، تكديس الكلمات كأنها وورد، فبتشتت انتباه القائل يعني المستمع مع المحاضر. الأصل إنه مثلا هاي أبسط الأشياء. كمان مثلا يعني ما زال للأسف تطبيقات، يعني نعم في تطبيقات عالية ومكلفة في تكنولوجيا التعليم، لكن أغلب الجامعات بتوفرها من خلال اشتراكاتها السنوية، لكن عزوف يعني أعضاء هيئة التدريس عن الورش التدريبية للأسف هو أحد الأسباب في تخلف خاصة الكليات الإنسانية عن مواكبة أو دمج تكنولوجيا التعليم. وأنا بنظري أنه لابد من خلق مجتمع الدفاع عن تبني تكنولوجيا التعليم، وأنه عن جد تكنولوجيا التعليم بتوفر علينا وقت، بتساعد الطلبة على تنمية مهاراتهم العقلية، بتساعد الطلبة اللي ممكن بشعروا بالخجل إنهم يعبروا عن آرائهم عن طريق الشات من غير ما نعرف مين هم يعني. فكثير أنا برأيي إنه لابد من خلق مجتمع الدفاع عن تكنولوجيا التعليم، وإلا يعني إذا كان الإنسان مندفع لتبني تكنولوجيا التعليم والقسم غير مكترث فبنظري يعني لن يجدي شيء، يعني تبادل المعرفة لن يتم. لكن إذا كان القسم فعلا متبني تكنولوجيا التعليم أنا بنظري راح الكل يخلق الفرص لتبادل المعرفة في هذا الجانب يعني. شكرا لك.
I'll translate first to English. I think sorry for that. I think those who do not understand the Arabic language. I think the main concern was that still there are challenges in some teachers, faculty, who are not ready to use technology, and they're trying to avoid it, and also they try to avoid coming to training and workshops and activities like that. I think this is again back to the leadership, to the team who should support them, engage them, motivate them, and find a different way to do that. Technologies, there was some discussion about the different technologies and availability of technologies, but the core thing is how the leadership can play a role in that. Amal, I think I would prefer, because most of the audience telling me they don't understand Arabic, I would prefer we do it in English, if you don't mind. Go ahead, Amal. Okay, thank you, Amal. Wafa?
I want to speak in English.
Yeah, very good. Speak in English. That's good.
According to what the colleague said or what the friend said, I think the technology should be used not by teachers, by the student themselves, to activate the role of the student, to let them to play a main role in educational process and to raise their participation till 80 or 85%. This technology is motivate the student and encourage them to do their role in a very active way, not by the teacher. No, the technology should be by the student. Teacher only like guide or give them an instruction to keep them safe like this. This is my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I think we need to proceed because we still have a lot of things. Thank you, Wafa, and thank you, Amal. We'll have a chance to talk later if that is needed. Okay, back to the Mentee and to the slide. So you can watch the, I just put, I think I will put it in the chat. Can you, yeah, I'll add it to the course later. You can look at the link of that study. Now coming back to the technologies that we need to work with. You're knowing all this technology and been working with it. These are the different technologies that we currently nowadays we have. Some of them, they are really ahead and they require lots of skills and competencies, and some of them are very simple and basic. So the learning management systems, authoring tools to help faculty and teachers to create a curriculum, video conferencing like what we're using now, virtual labs, analytics, AR and augmented reality and virtual reality, assessment and proctoring, student engagement tools, chatbots and robots, and other system integration, which we'll talk about it. So I'll just quickly go through those available now. You know, you may be using this or may be using something else, but in the learning management system, the main objective of it is to help or manage the learning and support the student and faculty to student to work together. I'll put back maybe the Arabic, sorry for that. I just put it off because it was saying when we were speaking in Arabic, it wasn't clear. Now back, so Moodle, Canvas, Blackboard, Google Classroom, Schoology, Ducipo, or those are the major one that people are talking about it. Maybe in your school using something else, please let me know if you're using something different completely from this one. Then comes the authoring tools that help faculty to create engaging and mobile friendly and content. And there are many of this, like many people know the Captivate. Captivate allow you to create a lesson in a storyline format with interactions and questions and videos and animations and other things. And you can create a scenario-based situation. You tell the student you are doing this, and now what you will do if this happen, and then student can go to different routes based on their answers and to get them to go through the learning journey. So you can use Captivate, and Spring can do similar thing. And there are others, Elucidat used it some time ago, and they have really nice web-based solution. You can do everything on the web, and you can create so many rich activities in the student. H5P now gaining momentum. This is created by MIT, and it allows you to include questions inside the video, allow you to create simulations. You can show you a VR and virtual reality type of things. You can do it all through inside H5P, and it integrates with your learning management system. So all the activities the student is doing is captures in the grade center. So you can later go and find, did the student answer this question correctly, or what are the areas that they faced some difficulties. And they're growing it. If you go h5p.org, you will see it's really growing, and it's easy to create and create very meaningful application, which you can share on any platform with no issue. For the animation and cartoon and simulation of ideas, also you can, it's not really simulation, but more using characters and things like that. You can use Beyond, or there are many others similar to this one. This is the one we used to create that video you have seen at the beginning. The EPUB is now old, started in 2008, but still gaining momentum because they create a mobile ready content and web ready content on that one. Video conference, there are many Zooms and Teams, GoToMeeting, WebEx. I think the mostly used maybe is a Zoom, Teams, Google Meet. Schoology also has something similar and big below. Cisco WebEx is used by organizations, and the one who created Zoom was managing the Cisco WebEx as well. Then there comes those sorry, this should be the title, should be the virtual labs. My apologies. There's so many of those great virtual labs. If you go and look at them, I have done a workshop on PHAET created by Colorado University. They created so many simulation in science, so you can create an experiment, electrical circuits or magnetic fields, and you play with it, or chemical reactions, and the student can do the actual experiment just by going through this one. And I'm sure you're using some of those already, but these are really great tools that help getting students to do experiment. Publishers also, McGraw-Hill, for example, and Person View, and those people are also now creating those virtual labs to help students learn science and technology as well. These are some of the augmented reality tools. I've been working with Blipper. It's really very nice. Also, CoSpaces. I'll just show you maybe a quick video on this one. This helps the student to mix reality and virtual. So they can come, for example, to a lab and scan an equipment. Then I get a video explaining to them how that technology works, or bring a specific equipment, virtual, inside the lab and start doing experiment on them. And these are tools like this now gaining momentum and inspire the student really to learn a lot. Look at this video and then we can discuss.
Do your students get to step away from consumption by creating digital content that demonstrates their learning? Class, meet CoSpaces EDU. CoSpaces EDU is a kid-friendly AR and VR creation app that enables building virtually anything. Build immersive 360-degree tours, create interactive stories, design virtual exhibitions, program games with a visual coding language, or conduct any experiment in 3D. All easily built, designed, and programmed by you or your students. Creating with CoSpaces EDU prepares kids for their future in the 21st century, whether that's for college, for civic life, or for their career, including in jobs that don't even exist yet. Your students develop their creativity, digital literacy skills, critical thinking, collaboration and communication skills, coding, design thinking, and more. All this while connecting with the study material part of the curriculum and having fun at the same time. And don't worry, it's easy to implement and intuitive to use. You can use CoSpaces EDU in multiple languages and from any device. Computers, including Chromebooks, smartphones, or tablet devices, all with the same account synchronized in real time. Just register for a free account, create your class, and invite your students to join. And where the real fun starts is when you bring the wow effect of VR and AR into the classroom. Let your students dive into their own creations in VR, project what they've built onto the real world in AR, or even hold it in their hands with the Merge Cube. Get ready to engage and captivate your students on a level you didn't think was possible before. Welcome to the magical world of CoSpaces EDU.
Yeah, and the good thing with these tools, again, they said it makes you experience something you will not imagine that is possible. You can really do it, and this CoSpaces allow students to create those learning objects or those experience or AR or VR. So teachers are using that to help students learn. I can see some questions there. Their website, we recommend to raise student writing skills. I don't know an answer that for that one, but there are some like H5P now helping creating a writing assignment that will be automatically graded. You know, you can grade multiple choice, true and false matching and those things, but how you can grade an assignment. So they came with a mechanism to do that, which not 100% working, but it helps doing that and get student practice activities more and more to do with that. Now let's move to the next one, then I'll come back to the questions. Okay, so the next one, the blipper, look at it. It's easy again to create, and it's really So basically with this blipper, if you have a brochure or you have a book, you have a page in a book or a problem need to be solved or an image in a book, you can link that image or a part of the book to a learning object. So you basically take your phone, scan that page on the book, then attach to it a video or anything that the student can do, some 3D graphics or 3D simulation if there are. And then the student at home, they want to learn about how to solve that problem. They just open their phone camera, point it to that section on the book or the page. Automatically the video will come on the screen or the game will come on the screen and they start interacting with it. This can be created with no technical background. You just need to have where you want to scan, what information you need to attach to that one, and then it goes. So these things are already exist. The last one I want to show you is from Microsoft called Hololens. Hololens is a virtual reality, but it's different from the HoloLens. The word holo came from that. You can see the actual reality, the way they design those lenses, and you also can see the virtual at the same time. Usually with this virtual reality, you put those things on your face, you see nothing outside, just see what's inside that virtual one. This one gives you access to the normal environment and also the virtual environment. This is version 2, which in the video there's version 3 now, which really can bring so many great things. And look at this one.
Today, I get to show you something very special. Forward to for many years. My hands. Look at this. Fully articulated hand tracking. And as I move my hands around, the HoloLens 2 is actually calibrating to my unique hand size. And of course, not only does the HoloLens 2 recognize me and my hands, it also recognizes the world. Welcome to my mixed reality home. This is the place where I have all the apps and content that I use every day. Let's check some of them out. Now, I've seen many people put on HoloLens for the first time, and the first thing people do when they put on the device is they reach out their hands and try and touch the holograms. And now you can. Look at the way that the hologram is responding to my hand, almost inviting me to touch it. And in fact, I can just grab this corner to resize it. Or I can rotate it, or move it. That's right. We are touching holograms. This is an app I've got called Spatial. Let me just put it right there. I've got another app here called Euphoria View. Now it's a little big, so let me just use 2 hands here to make it smaller and then rotate it so you can see. There we go. And then let me put it down here in your Spatial, maybe make it a bit smaller. Yeah, that's nice. All right, now let's switch gears and talk about a different kind of application. I've got a browser over there, but it's kind of far away and I don't really want to walk over there. So let me just call it over with my voice. Follow me. This is a browser that's running Microsoft Teams, which is a tool that we use back home to collaborate. Let me see what the team's been working on. Okay, It looks like they've got a surprise for me in the playground app. I just have to say the words show surprise. All right, so let me just open up that start menu here and then place the app and then launch it. So now we're actually exiting my mixed reality home and going into an immersive experience. But notice that that browser that I had actually followed me in. Now this can actually be really useful when you have things like emails or PDFs that you need to reference while you're doing your work. I don't really want it following me around though while I'm showing you all this cool stuff. So let me just put it over here and then we'll get back to it later. Welcome to the playground. We spent years exploring and refining interactions for HoloLens 2. And the playground is just a tiny sampling of the many prototypes that we built, tested, and learned from. Our approach was basically to try out as many things as we could and look for the things that stood out. So for example, here I've got 3 sliders. Each of them is controlling this wind farm simulation, but each in a different way, using a different interaction technique. One of the things we tried is this touch slider here. So here I can just stick my finger in the slider and have it go to a particular value to control that wind speed there. It felt okay. We also tried this push slider. So this guy kind of nudged from side to side, kind of like an abacus, which was interesting. Now, the interaction that really took home the cake, though, was this pinch slider. The way that works is you just pinch it and move it wherever you want. And what we found was that people really like that tactile sensation of their fingers touching as they grabbed and then released. And across the board, for all interactions, the audio and visual feedback as you grab, move, and then release were all really critical for making this experience feel connected. Oh, this is just so satisfying. I can't wait for you all to try this out. All right, now let's move on to a different kind of control, buttons. How do you press buttons on HoloLens 2? Well, you just reach out and press them. Now, one interesting thing that we found about buttons was that the size of the buttons actually impacted the way that people interacted with them. So for example, for the smaller one, most people would use 1 or maybe 2 fingers, but for the larger one, pretty much everyone used their entire hand. And this is kind of interesting when you think about it, because these objects don't really weigh anything. They're just digital things. But despite that, people would treat them like real things, almost as if the bigger one had more weight. I just love the way these move and the sounds they play when I press them. It's great.
Marketers and manufacturers that are spread all over the world. They can now come together in a spatial project room, reducing the need to travel as much to get everybody on the same page. When we're developing toys like this Rescue Hero Fires truck here, we're able to pin up dynamic content on virtual walls, like this PowerPoint, for instance, or videos, or even concept art. Teams can now rapidly exchange ideas and create a shared understanding.
Yeah, so this is an interesting area with some, I think, potential. Again, we need to wait and see there, but I think it's there. There are some applications already in place and people using it. The challenge with the HoloLens, the main challenge is the cost, which I think costs around $3,000 and difficult to get that many of them maybe in the school. The other challenge is creating those content. It requires working with some advanced technologies that can help with this. But with the time, I'm sure this will develop and becomes easier. And this is why they go through that curve. And now they are at a stage where there are applications in place for VR that we can consider. Iman, go ahead, please. Can see your hand up. Then make it brief, please. You change your mind. Okay. Okay. So we'll move. The next thing we will talk about it is student engagement using Menti. We're using Menti to allow you to help do something. Kahoot is everywhere and people using Kahoot. The challenge with these things, when you use it too much, then becomes again another challenge. People lose attention or lose interest in it. So you have to come with a creative way to move that and keep changing it. Slido is similar to Menti, and Factile is another one. The other one is the chatbot. We know Siri, we know Google Assistants, we know Amazon. These things, if you get them in your classroom and get your student to interact with them, you will find some amazing thing because they can really now do a lot of things. By the way, Abu Dhabi University created something called SAFE, which we'll share with you later. It can tell you about the upcoming workshops, and it reads direct from database. It can answer questions about the university, and in future, it should be able to answer very detailed and specific questions to certain requirement. Now look at using Amazon Alexa. So I have, okay, Amazon Alexa in the classroom. This faculty brought the Alexa Dot, which is the small one. There are different versions of Alexa to the classroom, and see how the student interacted with that experience. It is an English classroom, and look at it.
Alexa, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m.
What is the weather like today?
In Samut Prahan, it's 28 degrees Celsius with partly sunny skies.
Called out Alexa, everyone was excited because you can use this in your home. In my house, I have 4 in every room. Turn on the light.
Okay.
But not this light, because I have a smart plug in my house called light. They will see green lights turn on. So turn on the light. I also have Christmas lights in my home. Turn it on. Turn on. Yeah, see? Turned on. It's America first. Alexa, turn on the spotlight.
Turn on the spotlight.
Australia is 33.2 million people. I don't know that one.
So Alexa. There are 190 countries in the world. Is it true or false? Are you ready? How many countries are there in the world? Alexa, choose a number between 1 and 34.
The random number between 1 and 34 is 14.
How many languages in the world?
There are 6,912 languages.
Okay, so that's
As of 2019, the population of the world has been estimated at 7.7 billion people.
Play a song.
Here is Spotify.
Play Shape of You by Ed Sheeran.
Shape of You by Ed Sheeran from Spotify.
Do you like next year, do you want in your classroom? Yeah! So next week I'll come back and teach you again, and I will ask the school director if it's okay for you to have one in your classroom, okay? It's not the toys, so be careful. You have to understand.
Alexa, turn on the spotlight. Alexa, off the spotlight. Turn on your fan number 2.
Okay.
Papa!
The kids, they love it. And when I watch those kids, I can't stop smiling at them. It's really fun to have. Okay, so then comes those integration tools. We have some, if you're using Office 365, you have access to something called Power Automate. Power Automate can integrate many things. For example, if the student submitted an assignment, it can do a process with that one, archive it somewhere else and send email or alert you to grade it or things like that in the back end. So you can do so many things with Power Automate that automate things for you. For example, you receive an email with an attachment, what it will do with that one. If you upload a video, you notice I'm sending you a link to the video every day. I'm not that good to do this. And you can see the email comes personalized to you. What happened? I have Power Automate there. This is the trick behind it. I upload the video to YouTube and Power Automate will detect automatically that I uploaded the video. It goes and send the personalized email to everyone on the list with the link to the video and the description. Also, it adds a message to Microsoft Teams for our faculty to see the video being uploaded, added to our Yammer website and to the group to watch it, and there's so many things, and create a report added to the report of videos that we uploaded. So just by doing only one task, Power Automate goes and does all these integrations things, and it can integrate with more than 400 applications. Zapier is similar, came before Power Automate. I was using it before, but it's a subscription. Power Automate, to get it free from Office 365, and Zapier can do more, can do around 1,000 different applications, including with Power Automate, you can also send a message through WhatsApp, through social media. You can track the social media. If someone said something about your school, you get a personalized message to your WhatsApp or email, or will be flagged to your marketing department or to follow up with that one. So it can automate so many things. And there's so many of those automation systems, by the way. I'm just using these two because I use them heavily and I know how they work very well. So these are tools that nowadays are already there based on some artificial intelligence integrations and systems that can be very useful for you. Now the analytics, I'm almost ignoring the chat. I'm not looking at the chat. But I'll read them all later. If I see there's any comment that I need specific to answer, I will try to answer it to you later. Excuse me for that. I can see there's some good questions. We can go through the questions later. Okay, the analytics side, we need to do all those analytics, and there are tools already in place. Again, if you have Office 365, and by the way, schools can join Office 365 for free. Microsoft offering it to the schools, so you can get the basics application, similar to Google and all other provider. But they have something called Power BI, which help you do analytics of your data, student scores, engagement, and activities like that. And there are many of those. These are the 4 most widely used learning analytics that can help you do the analytics you need. The last thing you need to evaluate your system. We'll be talking more about this one next time we meet. So you need to look at your readiness in your organization in terms of being ready for technology and advanced technologies. And we developed a sort of a system that I will talk about it more, hopefully, next time we meet. Now, here, give me your satisfaction, and then I'll answer your questions. If you're satisfied or not satisfied with the topics, with the interactions, with the videos, with the piece of delivery. And then the next question I have is, what are the other topics you want me to cover for next time? If you think you want me to hide the results, I can hide the results. If you want to keep it, I'll keep it. I don't mind keeping it there. Okay, while you do that, I will go through the Q&A and see what you are saying. So Asma, I still, I think what you said in terms of not being, should be being technology ready, it's important, and focusing on all students, not only those who are able to do it or those who are weak. And that's a big subject. Technology can help a lot with this thing, and you can utilize technology for that. I can see Sami, if in your opinion, what needs to be done to relate or have smooth transitions between high school and the university. I think the main things are, I think schools are doing well. I heard, I think Wafa said, or someone said that you addressing issues like getting students to be more independent, learn on their own, being responsible, having the right attitude, and also communication skills and ability to present, work within a team. These are the fundamental things we need. The knowledge is not the big issue, or I think can be developed. And usually students who have the right attitude and have the good time management and wanted to learn, these people usually their grade is not really a big issue. I think that's for sure they need to meet the admission requirement and get them to admit them in the university. Otherwise, the universities would not be able to admit them there. I can see a hands-on, please. Can you speak, Wafa, please? Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, thank you so much. I really appreciate the videos you presented for us. They are so cool. And even the platforms you offered us are so beneficial. Thank you so much. And as for the students, digital learning, it revealed a lot of things about our kids. They are born to be digital learners, honestly. They are so smart. When you give them a project, you cannot imagine the way they create things. Communication skills are so good. Attendance is perfect. I don't know, probably they are feeling so relaxed that way. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, my friends are like commenting on me on WhatsApp because I'm talking today.
It's okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I think this generation is ready more than us. Sometimes it's us who want to treat them the same we are. They are different. Their capability is different. Of course, they have more distractions, which this is the challenge where the families and educators are facing, is how to convert that distractions into opportunities and make it really help our student, our kids, and that the big challenge. Technology can play a major role. I agree. When you give them something to do with technology that's meaningful and challenging, and they will produce great result. Usually, if they will produce better result if they feel this is fun and games, not really a learning, and learning comes just as a result of that activity. I think many of them will get more engaged in that way. Amal, please go ahead. Amal, you just raise your hand, then you mute yourself. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu rahmatullah. Thank you.
How we fill the gaps between the grades. For example, a student coming from grade 3 to grade 4 or from grade 6 to grade 7, big gap between the levels in English, Arabic, different subject. You feeling that always we face that I am responsible from the Arabic for non-Arab.
Yeah.
Always I face this problem. Big gap between the level between grade 3 and 4 or 6 and 7, and even faces. We're feeling that. How we solve this problem?
Yeah, you're saying here there are big difference. Mean who is better than the other one in terms of being more ready?
For example, grade 3 is come very low skills. When we in grade 4 we have high skills. Difficult for the teacher to let them to be in the same level. For example, grade 4 we have curriculum and we have supported like worksheet and other things. Tamam? When they come from grade 3, difficult, very difficult. We return back to maybe the letters and the word and the sentence again. We are always feeling that, I don't know, we have no any mistake in our system. Our system is very good. But I feeling not any, or I give you an example. We face that in all grades or in emphasis in normally, always. How we solve this problem?
Yeah, I think technology maybe can help, but this goes more to the way we teach. In my opinion, that with the way we teach Arabic language, I think it's not maybe the right way to do it for this generation. I find if you put them into playing with the language or practicing the language, or I think they will learn better than you just explain the grammar and the different components.
Most of the time we use a smart application, we use games, we use everything. But because some of them now we teach as the grades, not as the level. If we teach as the level, it is okay, fine. But we teach as the grades. For example, some students come overseas, but in their level like grade 5. We teach them as grade 11 because they come in grade 11, other subjects. This is our problem. But I don't know how we use the smart application, as I told you, games, everything, as you said, strategic technology. But I don't know how we solve this.
I think again, maybe go back to maybe make them play a role in something. Technology.
Role play also.
Like for example, let them to play a role, and you are playing the role of this person, and that playing that one, and get them to play together in front of you or maybe virtually. I'm not expert in teaching Arabic language and the way to do it, but I think the more the student is part of the solution and he is playing while he's learning and practicing, he will learn better. Especially our Arabic language.
What we did, doctor, because we said to them always, if you want to teach any language around the world, you should practice it, whatever it is right or wrong, not feeling embarrassing or something like that. Said whatever you can. Even now we talk English, but my language is not English. My language is Arabic, and even my school is in Arabic. But whatever, if you understand me, alhamdulillah. Not everything is perfect and not everything is complete. My aim here only to understand me. We motivate them and encourage them to do like that. But inshallah, I hope so.
Inshallah. Thank you. Shadi? You need to unmute, Shadi, not mute. Go ahead.
Good evening, Doctor. Thanks for the lovely lessons you are providing. Doctor, one of the major things we are facing with our students is, through the online learning, of course, is their low concentration and follow-up. Whenever they are online, they are just muting their microphones. Even if the camera is open, they are just opening another site or another platform or another laptop or iPad or whatever and just playing games. So they are not concentrating on the lecture. They are not following with us. Even if we include a lot of games or a lot of like Mentimeter or other platforms like Quizzes or Kahoot or whatever games we are trying to use to make them like engage with the topics, they are just ignoring everything and focusing on just playing games. And this is really difficult nowadays. So how can we overcome this problem?
Yeah, I think the family has a role to play. I'll give you myself, I have an example here. Maybe that helped me because I'm in technology. I use some software that during the study time, my son or daughter cannot open the games or any of those things. If they try their own way, I get an alert of that one, and I'll try to find a way to control that one. Families has a responsibility given the kids are there. Now we can also change the way we teach maybe. I think if you make student produce work, for example, I'm teaching them a topic. Why I'm teaching it? Why don't I ask them to create a PowerPoint on that topic? I know some parents will say, oh, we bring our kids to you to study and not to make them do the work, but that's the way they should learn. Get them to do some activities, make them do some assignments, make those assignments important for their learning. I think these are some of the things. Your team will know better, your leadership will know better. But I think the more we engage the student and make them produce results, that maybe help. But responsibility on everyone, not only on you, because they are not in your class. If they are in your class, you will find your own way to engage them. But if they are at home, family should play also a responsibility on that. I'm sure technology will develop in a way to have teachers, but they're not going to develop that fast. They will take some time to help with this. Sorry, I hope I gave you some answers there. Thank you, Shadi. Any other questions? I think we are done. I hope, thank you for the feedback. I can see there are lots of good things that I need to maybe look at it. And next time we come on Wednesday, we will try to cover some of them. On Wednesday, I think I need maybe some of you to participate more. If you can get yourself ready, if you wanted to do that, send me an email so we can have a group of you like a panel and we go through and discuss your experience. I think we as a team here need to learn from each other's and the experience we went through that one. That's one thing I'm thinking of it. And I have so many things I would like to cover on Wednesday, inshallah. So thank you, everyone. I wish you a great time. Thanks.